Welcome to Save As Ability, a podcast to educate and inform you about disability employment issues. My name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Hey everybody, great to be back with you. David D'Arcangelo, Save As Ability here for another episode. Please like, subscribe, share. That's really helping us build our channel, get this content out for you. So today we're going to be talking about a little news going on in the disability community, particularly around some of the things we've been talking about, like the definition of disability, and particularly how disability is measured. All right, so let's get into it. So there's been stories written recently about how the United States Census Bureau is going to be measuring or changing the measurement potentially of people with disabilities. So let's just have a little review. We've mentioned pieces of this, but to bring everybody up to speed. So back in 2008, that's right, only 15 years ago, is the first time that the Census Bureau, through their instrument called the American Community Survey, started keeping the data for people with disabilities on a large scale by asking 6 questions, really, that are able to create these prevalence types: hearing and vision and cognition and mobility and independent living and self-care. And so before that, it didn't really, the data didn't really exist like it does now on this large scale, because the American Community Survey is such a big instrument, right? There were other tools from things called the BRFIS, which is the Behavioral Risk of Surveillance System, and the SIP, and other measures from other disability departments within the federal government and things like that. But back in 2008, again, when the American Community Survey was put in place, really the largest measure, because it gets distributed, that survey gets distributed to so many millions of people, it really became very valid pretty quickly. All right. So that was a good thing. And the disability community at the time, I think, there was some mixed things of, can it be more questions? And, the way the survey was put together was pen and paper back then. And so mailing it out, there was considerations that had to be made. And, you couldn't just ask this endless amount of questions and things like that. So here we are now in 2023. Back in 2018, an initiative started within the Census Bureau, and it was to really modernize the questions, go to like an evolution of the questions. Because right now, the way the questions are asked, the answers are a yes or no answer. And so what's being proposed is a gradient answer, right? So that then presents various opportunities, but it also presents various challenges as well. And right now in the disability community, there's a little bit of a debate about, is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Is this going to affect the amounts of people with disabilities? Because really, one of the things that the American Community Survey is used for local governments, state governments, federal governments, policymakers on, well, how many people with disabilities are there, and what's the breakout amongst these quote unquote, air quotes, prevalence types? And so the implications of changing that could mean more people with disabilities are included or less people with disabilities are included, where that could then make policy implications changes down the line that, again, could include more people with disabilities or less people with disabilities. And one of the articles I saw, I think it was from National Public Radio, had it that there was a report that came out about a test that the Census Bureau had done that indicated potentially as many as 40% less people with disabilities by this new measure would be included. And, that's a little speculative. That was a test that they had done, and we're not sure until it fully gets implemented. So my feelings on it. So 2 different things. One, I do think going with a gradient answer is incremental change. I think that's positive. I think that can help us get better data. I think the challenge comes is, where then does that quote unquote like set the line? Because really what that could do then is lead to I guess, less people with disabilities ultimately being included in that because of the gradient approach to the way the questions are answered. So it's not so much about the questions, it's more about like the answers. And by not having yes or no, all of a sudden you have this gradient. And so the pluses for it are we're then going to be able to match to the rest of the world with similar methodologies and things like that. That's probably a good thing. But again, on the other side, some advocates are saying, well, that will lead to less people with disabilities. To me, that remains to be seen. I'm not so sure of that. So again, just to go to the show, this is just one measure of disability, though. We're not even talking about these program the 67 definitions of disability that we've talked about in other episodes, right? So as you can see, this gets complicated. There's a lot of nuance here. What do you think about it? What do you think we should be doing? People in the disability community or people interested in these issues? Let me hear about it. Put in the comments. Again, like, subscribe, and share. We're going to be doing these all throughout the coming year for anybody checking this out. Hope you have a great holiday season. We'll see you next time. Happy New Year. It's David D'Arcangelo, Save Visibility. Talk to you soon. For more information about disability employment issues, please visit our website, disabilityemploymentsolutions.com. The Save As Ability podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our YouTube channel at Disability Policy Expert, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment. Save As Ability lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #TheNewRadio. Again, my name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Until next time, thank you. I hope you have a great day.